Okay, so for this next little project, what we're going to do is look at importing SVG so you can make more complex shapes, a bit of sheet metal, and basically trying to design a point of sale stand. So the kind of thing that you're going to try and promote doesn't really matter. It's just trying to show you some of the different skills for modelling and those sorts of things. So just to make it a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is do a Red Bull promotional stand, mainly because the F1 season just started and I'm a massive F1 geek, as we all know. Um, and Red Bull can relatively easy to model. So we're going to do the first thing we need to do is have something that we can actually promote. So that'll be the first step is making the actual Red Bull can itself. So I'm going to create a sketch on this side plane. Now I did get the measurements up for what we needed, which are here. So annoyingly in inches, but if you remember from previous videos, you can put inches in and it will translate it for us, which is fine. So we need to do 7.4 inches. So let's do L for line. I'm going to come up and do 7.4 and then just type in inches and hit enter, and you'll see it has converted it to millimeters for us because it knows that millimeters are the better measurement. And then next one, so diameter of 2.6. So actually we only want half of that. Now I could figure that out myself, or what I could do is come across, go 2.6 inch divided by 2 and hit enter, and it'll figure it out for you. So that's always worth mentioning. So I'll just double click. So it's telling me that it's 33 mil, but you can put equations into Fusion in the dimensions bar, and it will figure it out for you. And you can do some very complex equations. You could even type in pi and things like that, and it will calculate it all for you. So sometimes it's worth doing it because it will do all the heavy lifting for you anyway. And then all we'll do is just close off this profile. So I'm going to click L again, go, oh no, L, sorry. Why are we not getting the line tool? Okay, let's go. There we go. I don't know what happened there. And then I'm just going to come up like that. Hit finish, and then we're going to do a revolve. So revolve that profile, axis, right across there. Okay, so we've got the basic cylinder shape. You can also, now I haven't really shown any videos of this, there are pre-made shapes in there, so you can do like boxes, cylinders, spheres, and those sorts of things. I don't tend to use them. I like to, there's two sorts of trains of thought for it. Some people like to do the sketches, build it up that way, which is how I prefer to do it. And then other people, they start with the pre-made shapes and they sort of like hack and slash away from it to mold to get the shape that they want. It really is a preference thing. I definitely just prefer sketches and building up that way. I feel like I have more control over it, and I think it looks a little bit neater when we're doing it. Okay, so now we've obviously got to try and turn that into start to shape like a Red Bull can. So let's go to offset plane on here, and I'm going to just bring this down. Now for this sort of thing, I haven't got exact measurements. I'm just trying to model it. Well, we all know what Red Bull cans look like. So what I've got a plane there just so that I can go to split body and then use that. Because then what I'm going to do, so I'm going to hide this for a second, is I'm going to modify and draft, and then I need to have a surface. So I'm going to hold through because I want that underneath one there. So I want that one, and then it says what faces do I want to draft. So that, and if you see what happens if I start to drag this, it'll start to bring it in and out. So basically what you do with draft, it gets a little bit confusing, is you need to, the first thing you click is sort of like the place where it's hinging from, which is why I split the body first of all, so I could make it hinge. Whereas if I had hinged it from the top, it wouldn't have worked. And then you say, once you've got where you want it to hinge from, then you say which faces you want to draft, and then you get the little widget, and then you can bring it in how you like that. Now I'm only going to do one side because then I'll just mirror it across because they'll be the same anyway, so it's not a problem that way. Okay, and then let's combine those back together. So let's combine those two. Then let's create a sketch. We're going to do an offset. Now for this bit, I've not really got exact measurements. I'm just sort of going by how I remember cans looking like. We've all seen cans, we see them on a daily basis. I'm going to hit E for extrude, just bring this down. So it does come down to out. That's probably a little bit too much actually. Let's bring that back up. Okay, and then let's do pipe. So we're going to go to pipe. Let's click on this edge here. Have that as join. So we've got our little lip. Actually, that probably still a little bit too much. Let's just go back and edit that again a little bit. Come up. There we go, that looks a bit better. Then let's just add a little fillet so it's not like a really sharp edge. Oh, no, we don't want that much. Let's try like 2. It's definitely starting to shape like a can. And then what we'll do, because we want it to be exactly the same top and bottom, so let's, in fact, what we're going to do, we're going to go back in time for a second because I need to find exactly in the middle, and because I've already extruded down a little bit, I won't be able to do that. So what I'm going to do quickly is just go, before I did that, let's go to construct mid-plane, click top and bottom, click OK. So now I've got that mid-plane, and then I can go back forward in time like that. So that's done. So that's definitely in the middle. So let's split body, split this, splitting tool is there. So I can go to my bodies. I want to keep that one. I want to get rid of that one. So let's go on remove. Remember to get rid of planes if you don't want them to be seen anymore. Click on them, press V on your keyboard. So then we're going to mirror that across. Let's go to create mirror. This time we want to do bodies, that whole body. Mirror plane, I would like to do that one. So we've got the overall sort of shape of our can. So what we do want to do is obviously the bottom of the can is always a little bit more sunken. So let's go to create and we'll go to sphere. I'm going to click in the middle there and just drag out. I'm going to say new body because we're going to move that again a little bit. Okay, so you can see that's there. So we're then going to go on move, bring it down like that, and then what we're going to do is combine. So target body is that, tool body is that, but this time I'm just going to use that to cut. So I'm going to change this to cut, and it's going to basically get rid of that. So if I click OK, and you can see it's made the little indent that you would normally get on a can. So I just use that sphere as like a cutting tool basically. So we've got the overall shape of the can, not very difficult. So the bit that takes the longest really is to do like the little ring pulley. So for that I'm going to insert a canvas. Let's go to desktop. We are Fusion videos. I'm going to bring it onto the surface. I just got an image on offline basically of trying to model how this looks. I'm just going to make it the same sort of size as kind of modeling. Hit OK. So just using it as like a little reference image. So in fact, let's rotate that a little bit so I'm looking at it a little bit more straight on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is sort of like trace half of it, mirror it over. So we're going to go on create sketch on this surface, rotate it around, and we're just going to sort of use our sketching tools. I'll go straight down the middle. Oh. Okay, so if you ever get that, by the way, that's just saying that my internet is just cut out for a second, but it will still work. It'll just remind me when I'm back online again. Hopefully this video recording hasn't messed up. I don't think it should have. Okay, so we're gonna then start to get a little bit of outline. I'm mainly going to use arc command. So put arc. Just going to start tracing basically as a reference. Might jump back to the line command. And then jump back to arc. Now what we'll see there, because obviously I've done it with some straight lines, so I'm going to use some fillets to make this look a little bit less harsh. I think I'll go back and change that in a second actually. Okay, so that bit looks a little bit off, so let's go to create arcs. Let's start up there. That looks better. Let's get rid of this bit. There we go, that looks better. So we've got that full profile. Let's get these little details in as well. So let's go arc. And then rectangle. Let's fillet this down, bring it down. Okay, just check we're coming still profile. Yep, so we're still full profile. And then let's mirror that across. Let's go to create a mirror. Now remember, there are two types of mirror. There's mirror when you're in a sketching, and then mirror when you're in solid mode. Some people tend to get a little bit confused sometimes if they've finished their sketch and then they're trying to mirror the sketch afterwards. It won't work. You need to be in sketch mode if you're going to sketch. Are you going to mirror some sketches across? So select that and then deselect that line. Mirror line is there. Hit OK. So now I've got my full profile. So let's now select those two. Let's come up, let's try maybe like 2. We go to new body. I don't want them to be joined yet. So we've got a revolve shape. Let's turn off the body so you can see we've sort of got our overall rough little shapes. Obviously we've got some refining to do. Okay, so now let's start to fillet outside a little bit. Make it look a little bit more realistic. Let's try 0.5. And then we'll do the same. Let's fillet. Okay, so I say that looks pretty good. Then we sort of need to have these overall outlines. Let's just, okay, I think we need to move that into position a little bit better. So let's move. Okay, put our cameras back on, so we're out of position a little bit, which is fine. So then we sort of need like an overall outline, which is nice and easy to do. So let's click on sketch. Let's rotate round. Let's go P for project. Let's project this whole body. Let's turn that off. Oh, turn that off. And then let's have a go at modeling. So go to arc. fillet the edges there. Let's dial it in a little bit so it's not so harsh. Enter. And then let's offset. So let's offset that and come out. Then let's offset this a little bit. Okay, and obviously because I've moved my model since then, so it's going to look a little bit odd. And then let's sort of join those together. So let's go to create. Finish sketch. In fact, no, let's go back. Sorry, let's go to edit sketch because we need to make something more 3D. So we need to make this 3D. So let's offset this in a little bit. Go OK. Then we go finish sketch. Then let's turn this canvas off for a second. Let's hit up, and then let's say 1 mil. Again, let's say new body first, so we can move it all to position. Turn our sketch back on. Okay, let's just move this body so it looks like it's more in line with where it needs to be. Okay, then let's go back, edit this sketch quickly. Turn off. Okay, so now we want to just remove these out a bit, it's just because I'm going to use them as a reference. Let's get rid of the line there. Okay, so now I've just got that overall shape. Let's just check that's a full profile, which it is, which is excellent. Let's just offset that whole profile out a little bit. -0.1. No, minus. There we go. Then let's finish sketch. And then let's E for extrude. Let's bring that up. Let's try like 0.5. Okay, so now what we're going to do is start combining, because then we're going to start filleting. Let's try. Okay, and then let's just fillet this little part as well. So there we go. And now we're going to combine them, because then we're going to fillet them on the join so it looks a little bit more realistic. So let's go to combine. Target body is this one, and we would like to join these two together. I don't want it to be join. Okay, so now I can fillet this edge. and hit OK. So I'd say the top of our can is done. So in fact, in terms of the actual modelling side of it, the can is done. So really now it's just a case of trying to make it look more realistic. So I'm just going to save this quickly so it will let me render it later. So let's go to okay, so in terms of the Red Bull graphics, so let's just get up an example so we've seen what they look like. So this is one I've done previously, so this is the sort of look we're going to go for. Okay, so all these materials are already built into it. So what we're going to do, let's have a look. We'll do a couple of split bodies, add some materials, and then add that decal. So let's come across here. Let's create a sketch on this plane. I'm going to do a couple of lines, hit L. First of all, if you have a look, we had just a line coming straight across, so let's just do that one. That's a little bit high, so let's just right click and move and bring it down just a touch. And then last time I found this quite a bit fiddly, just trying to get the right angle of the line really, so let's just sort of come across like that, and then let's see if we can move there. I'm going to fit OK. So what we'll try now, we're going to have one more line, sorry, so let's just go and edit sketch, have one more line going across the middle like that. Again, let's just bring that down a touch. Okay, now we're going to split the body. So let's go to, or split the face, sorry. So we're going to split face. Face to split is this one. Splitting tool is there. Now it's going to turn on my sketches off again, so I want to just turn that back on again. I'm going to do that a couple of times. Go to split face, face to split, splitting tool. And you see these lines appearing. That basically means now I can apply different materials to each one of those. Let's go to modify again, split face, and then splitting tool, like that. Okay, and I also want to just bring that a bit higher. Looks better there. Just bring this down a little bit. In fact, let's do it like that at the top as well. That worked quite well. Like that, and then I'll turn my sketch off. You can see I've sort of got the diagonal lines where it's all going to go. So let's just go to A for materials. Make it a bit bigger so we can see what we're doing. So let's go to metal. So let's have a look. So let's bring these up. Let's change the colours. So colours need to be quite bright. So let's have like, change this to a blue. You want quite a dark blue with Red Bull, so it's like that. Let's see. We want a nice shiny reflectiveness, so let's bring that in, make sure it's on faces. Like that. If we don't like it in render, we can always change that again later. So we've got blue, then we want to have like a grey one, so let's duplicate. Let's make a bit of a grey one. Bring that in. We then want, again, let's duplicate. We want a black one for the bottom bit. Like that. And then let's just jump into render, see how that is looking. Let's change the lighting a little bit because it's a little bit dark. Let's go to scene settings. Let's go back to cool light. Okay, so those colours are looking quite good. So then obviously the last little bit will be to add in the logo, which we'll do now, and then that'll be our can done, the first little part. So let's just go back to design. Let's go into insert. Sorry, it's decal this time when you want it to be a graphics that you're going to use for the actual physical model. So then I've got a Red Bull decal. Click on the surface you want. Now this time I've got chain faces on. Let's see what happens. I'm going to rotate this around -90. Let's drag it down into position. Get a little bit bigger. Okay. So before I said about having chain faces off, because it was having a little bit of a moment, but because we've split these faces to add colours to them and we've not distorted them, the reason why chain faces doesn't work sometimes is if you've distorted the face to make like ergonomic grips and those sort of things, that's when the decal can tend to sort of distort itself anyway. But because it's still a perfect cylinder, it's not affected it. So then let's just do that one more time. So let's go and insert decal. Grab that same decal, let's rotate around, let's click on this face, -90, get bigger. Okay, let's just jump into render. So you can see we've got our Red Bull can done. So that's the first little part. So obviously we've got something now ready to, and I'll just save that quickly, ready to make a stand for. So that's the first little part, is make a product or something that you can display for a shop. In the next video we'll look at doing like quick little sheet metal part and then bringing in an SVG to then make a more complex shape. Okay, so once we've got our can, we are now going to bring in a couple of them to do our point of sale. So we're just going to remove this quickly. Okay, so what we want to do is make that into a component. No, it does mean we're going to have to insert our decals again quickly, which is fine, so let's just do that quickly. So we're going to go to insert decal. Let's just do that, bring it into this face. -90. Oh, oh. Like that. Okay, so now what I can do is I can copy and paste. So let's go on Control C, Control V. Copy and paste. Let's bring it into position. Okay. I'll do one more. So let's do paste. And bring it into position that way. So just gonna make a little promotional stand. We don't need to hold much. So what we're going to do is go to sheet metal, go to create a sketch, and let's do it on this bottom plane, and just do a really simple rectangle. Okay, and then remember we need to click on Flange. Now here I've already want it being card. I've already got the card settings set up there. So I'm going to click on OK, and then just check. So I need to bring it down. As you can see, the bottom of the cans is coming through. So let's click on this body, right click, or move. I'm just going to bring it down so it's not interfering with the cans. Click on OK. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of, okay, that's the right way around. Creating a flange just to make a little promotional type stand. like that. Okay. Then let's do little glue tabs. Perhaps if you click on the right edge, bring that in. Do the same on the other side. Like that. And then we'll do the back. So let's bring Flange up. Oh, I've got the wrong edge selected. Let's try that again. Let's go to Flange, and then this edge comes up. And then we'll do a couple more coming across. I think I've got another row of cans on there as well, just so it looks a bit more realistic. Control C, paste and bring it up. Bring it into position. Oh, too much. And then let's just do a couple of quick little flanges on these edges here. Okay, so I've got the basic outline for my stand, so that's the end of the second video. So the next part of the video, we'll look at bringing in an SVG, which lets us do a little bit more complex shape. Okay, so last video we just made our can and we made our little basic point of sale display stand. The last little skill I want to show you really is bringing in an SVG file that you can then extrude into make a more complex shape. So first of all, with SVGs, you need to find the kind of image you find matters. Really, the best ones are silhouettes or very dark images that you can take. And then what the best thing to do is go into like an online image converter like this one, imageonlineconvert.com, and it will let you take like a JPEG, PNG, anything like that, and convert it to an SVG. So with it being Red Bull, so what I've done, I've insert and I'm going to SVG, and then I found the image of, let me say what space we want to do it on. So I found this image of a Red Bull racing car, simply because it made sense. Red Bull cans, energy drink, Red Bull Racing. Now I'm going to bring it in and resize it a little bit. Move it into position. That may be a little bit bigger. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to hit Okay, I'm going to hide all of these bodies. So basically got now is something I wouldn't have really been able to freehand draw. I do need to alter its size. So if I get my original SVG, so this is the image that I found online, which is just a normal JPEG. I then uploaded it, or converted it rather, on that website, and it came up with this image. So you can see where it was lightest, it's kind of not taking the image. So I just need to add that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just edit the sketch, because this is part of a sketch, and I can add lines to it. So let's go to line, let's come across. Do the same over here as well. So let's go on line. And it's really important just to make sure that you're keeping it as a full silhouette, which is what we're after. So at the minute it's not, because there is going to be gaps somewhere. So you can edit these SVGs nice and easily. And then last little one, let's have a line going from here to here, and you can see now that is a full silhouette that I can now edit. So I'm going to finish sketch. So now what I'll do is I'm going to click on every bit that I want to keep. Now I'll keep the wheels out. I'm going to hit E, and then I'll put in how thick I want it to be. Hit OK, and it will let me have the overall shape that I wanted. So if I turn back on my other bodies, so you can see now, let's just move that one out of the way. So let's move, bring it this way. What I've got is a complex shape I wouldn't have been able to really do by hand, or it would have taken a very, very long time with quite a bit of difficulty. And then let's just turn on all of these components. And then I can duplicate this, Control C, Control V. Bring it into position. Hit OK. So that's all I really want to show you. So we've done our modelling of the thing we were going to promote, a bit of sheet metal to make the actual stand, and then just bring in an SVG to give like the display stand a little bit more detail to look at. So all that we've left really now is to add colour to it, so I can bring in a decal to make the car look more realistic, and then I can add paint to make that look more realistic. But I'll do that. I won't do that in the live video because it'll take a little bit of time. If you have any questions, let me know.